Look, ladies and gents, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a very fun few days for me and my fantasy squad. I more than halved my rank last week. Actually, just pretty much exactly halved my rank last week from 463 into 232 with 1,052 out there. And the good news is here that we ended up getting the try assist. Thank goodness that they worked it out, especially from the same game too. They might have different scorers for different games and different sort of thoughts around it, but there's probably a bit of a directive at the moment that passes from dummy half, for the most part, aren't try assists, especially a little bit further out from the line. So I'm glad they worked that one out, and Watson and Plath both got the try assists that they rightly deserved. They were very clear, and they got there. So that really helped me out. Obviously, I think I was 239 overall rank and moved into 232 with those two awesome try assists. But as I was saying, it was an absolutely cracking week for myself. My lowest score was actually James Tedesco, which is wild. And my second lowest score was actually Whiten with the 40. We had Blore with the 42 and Carraz with the 45. And outside of that, Galvin's 43 as well. Outside of that, it was 50 plus for my side and led by Damien Cook with 95 and Jai Gray with 77. It was absolutely cracking. And Cleary as captain, obviously. Drinkwater 69 was great. And plus 63 was massive. Again, like to go back-to-back good scores there, 65, 63. For Plathy was a try and a try assist, which helped him out on that front. And hopefully other weeks it's going to be tackles and he'll do it in different ways. But Watson over 50 in the end, not so bad. And he does lose a lot of cash. He's down to 682 now, but thankfully a pretty decent score there. And just very happy overall. End up being able to loop Fainu in and had him in 7. And the way that worked, guys, I had Cotter. He played the first game. Pop him in that starting mid there, and then you can just loop how you please. So as you can tell here, interchange 1 all the way through to emergency 6. There's no one there that is a mid. So that's where Fainu becomes the first cab off the rank there as my mid to use. And what I did there was I moved Watson up to hooker as another mid replacement. If I didn't like that score from Fainu, then I could have moved Watson around, changed him with Cook, could have played Willison and moved him up above, a bunch of different things there, and I wouldn't have got Fainu's score. But by putting him in there in 7, I was able to muck around with that. And you've got to base it on I had Galvin and Fainu in that same game. So, if I liked Galvin's score only, I could just get his score really easily by moving Garrick out of there. I could loop number 6 then, whether it be Greg or I put someone else in that position in a slightly later game, whether it was put Jai Gray in that number 6 slot and decide if I wanted that. Like I could do a bunch of different things to potentially loop that 6 slot. And that's the best thing about this time of year is hopefully you do have the odd couple of trades left, right? But you are going to have someone from each team that's an injury, a concussion, a bye, whereas you can loop a couple of players. And if you get stuck with sort of 21, which is great in a way, but you have to just lock in your decisions and you can't do any looping there, which is a big part of the game. And if you get those loops right, you can do really well. Unfortunately, I got the Bazu Galvin. I missed out by 1 point, but not a problem there at all. And I suppose now moving forward to next week for my side, before we get into all the rankings and everything from there, what we're looking at is Watson and Tedesco out. Hopefully we do see Cotter return and Garrick return with no problems to them with their concussions. And from that standpoint, where we can do some looping again. And I think with just those two guys out, which is funny that Teddy was my lowest scorer, so him being out shouldn't affect me too much there. And I can loop with a couple of players. My lowest potential scorers this coming week are likely to be Willison, Fainu, and then potentially like a Whiten, Blore, Drinky maybe kind of scenario would be where I'm at on that front. So we'll muck around with doing some good loops for round 23. And in that first game, it's actually the Storm. So, Blorey could potentially be looped in that one for a starter. And they also play Storm against Bunny. So I have a lot of Bunnies players there, given 4 players there. And I'll do some looping with Gray or with Whiten and these types of players there to make sure that I can get the best possible 17 scorers in my team there. And I think very, very unlikely that I'll be trading this week unless we happen to see some issues with team lists and anything like that. But I ranked 209 for the week out of 244,000 teams. So very, very happy with that. With the 232 overall, with 3 trades remaining, with 77 in the bank. So let me know where you are at and what you scored. heading into this week. All right, let's go to rankings now. So I'm at 232, obviously, which is 18,386 points. I personally am a little under 600 points away from first, which is a fair way away. Shout out to Maddie B, who is 91 points ahead of Christian in 2. Who's almost 30 points ahead of Peter in 3 now. And then you've got Kai and Riley with Kushla, Alex, Sean, and Big Bev in number 9th, and then Jacob number 10th. So shout out to Bevan coming first in the private group. He had a cracking week himself with 1,040, and even had Fainu as a non-scorer, and he also had Eisenhuth as a non-scorer there at 64. So he decided that he was going to take, obviously, Galvin as his was his potential Lupo, and he didn't end up taking him. And just a bit unlucky there, and then ended up not playing Eisenhuth with the way he's been scoring recently. He picked up a 64 as well, so it wasn't all rosy and didn't go perfect for him. But thankfully still ended up with a good score. He had Curran and Nikora Howarth as slightly lower scores, but no Payne Haas, obviously a big one there. And he doesn't have Tedesco himself. So congrats to Bevan. He's very, very close to that of Sean in 8th, 9 points away from that one. And I think 3 trades left himself after coming on the channel there. He's basically more than halved his rank, which is awesome. And he's in a good spot to push forward from there. But we'll get into the rest of the guys. We've got Liam in 21st, for example, also in the private group there as well. So very, very cool on that front. But let's get into those leagues now. And I did get to beat Ish for once, which is great. My partner there, so I'm sitting second in that. We're doing really well, the two of us. The power couple, she's got 13 wins. I got 12. So how it's working in our one is we just have a straight grand final. So we play all the way through until round 24, I believe, and then grand final in round 25. So looks like we'll be facing each other in the final again, which will be pretty fun there. I think she has a couple extra trades than I do, and probably won't have the unluckiness of Dylan Walker in that week there. But look at this one, 1,052 up against 1,043 there, and that was an elimination final there now. So we moved to the prelims in that one, which is cool. So very early, round 23 and 24, things will be over. The seeded league, unfortunately, I didn't make the finals of that one. So congrats to all those guys in that one there. And then obviously second in the Blake Taft Shield, which is our first qualifying final game now. But again, head-to-head's not the most important for myself. The Enron Fantasy Analysis Community League, we do have Riley, who's actually sitting in 5th spot there, in first at the moment, with Jacob, Christian, Oliver, Gerard, Hayden, Marcus, Ian, and Mitch, all in a really good spot there, coming into the back end of this season there, with 54th for Ian, 59th for Mitch, and then Don unfortunately had a bit of a low one into 60th there as well, and then Nikki, who's also in the private group, is 65. So plenty of players in the private group are in the top 100 right now. I'm 232 overall and sitting there 11th in the private group, and we have all the way down to Max is sitting in 87th there. Hayden is at 111th. So we have 8 players in the top 100, which is super cool. And a shout out to Shane, who had an absolutely banger of a score, 1,078 there, with Cook, with Tarpany, with Yo, Colin Matungi there. Curran is a little bit of an annoying one, but had Gray with his 77. Playing DeBell in there as well, missing out on Talangi's 54. But a really, really cracking score for you there, Shane Voss. Good stuff. And shout out to everyone else in this league right now, Richard, Max, Hayden, and Jack, all better than myself at the moment and having a cracking season. Some have trades, some don't, but it's a good little group we've got going on there. And guys, it's happened. Official. I'm first in the Podcasters League. It has happened. It's taken a while, but we've built well and we've got there. And surprisingly enough, it was a week that I beat most people by over 100. And unfortunate for Dan there, he had 841. So I beat him by 211 this week, which moved me. I'm now 110 points clear after being behind by about 100 coming into this week. So a crazy one for myself there. Lucy there with a 906, a little bit of a lower one. And then you've got Stuart with an 865 after having a banger last week. And then Austin with an 811. So unfortunately, there are a few people in here that decided not to get Cleary, one being Austin. And unfortunately, that's hurting him at the moment. And hopefully he does jump on soon. Can't get left behind by the Cleary train, that's for sure. 944 for Nick. So yeah, now I'm going to be the hunted now, which will be, it's a fun spot to be. I'm very happy to be there, that's for sure. And I look forward to going 2 better than last year, coming third in the podcasters, hoping to come first this year. Shout out to, we've got Rob and Mark down there. 6,210, 6,299. But again, both those guys, actually, Rob's got Cleary, but Mark did not go for Cleary as well. And instead chose Fafita as captain in that one. And then we've got Scoop with a 938. Did pick up Harry Grant with an 81, which is nice, but unfortunately didn't loop properly with Fainu and end up having to take Kaipi's Paul's score, which is a bit tough there as well, and then missed out Talangi. So picked up Ponga for his 30. So there you go on that one. But I did hear that he helped a few people out making their decisions in the video we did last week, which was really, really helpful as well. So that was a bit of a gloating moment there that I'm ahead in the podcasters, but we're going to get Talking League boys in there. I don't know why they decided not to be in there. It's just a bit of fun, but not to be apparently. So would have been cool to be up against them. I do believe that TK is up at a similar rank to myself, and a few of the other guys doing really well. So it'd be cool to have been up against them, but it's hard to kind of find their stats unless you're looking on Team Analyzer. That's a little bit harder to do as well. And I will talk about the knockout competition that we've got for the private group very, very soon. Once we get those results sorted, we'll have that ready for you. And second in the Gargarov, which is a group of like 40 odd people, 18th in Cowboys, 40th in the Fantasy Amateurs overall there as well. So yeah, pretty excited as to where we're at the moment. I do think that, Greg Marzu is going to be a fun one to own this week, and we'll do some looping and we'll see how we end up. Hopefully you can have another good week and not have to trade would be cool. And then maybe make one trade heading into like round 24, I think. Maybe a little bit of an upgrade or something like that. And we'll go from there. I just have the one Bronco. So yeah, should be fun on that front. Let's move to the Supercoach side of things and just basically treading water at the moment, sadly. My main issue here was I traded out Galvin this week. He got an 82. I traded out Terrell May for Payne Haas. So that didn't help at all. Otherwise, I think it would have made decent amount of ranks there, and picked the wrong guys to unfortunately trade in. But that's how it goes sometimes there in that one. We did have a better score from Connor Watson, which was nice. But we'll check that out here. So 12-15 for myself. Val Holmes at 136 to start off. Adam Finnell-Blake a bit lower at 55. Plath 95 was great. Watson 79. Asako 64 there. Teddy's 52, a bit low. For Feeder, same deal, 59. Campbell low at 45. Payne Haas at 18. So that game was pretty rough there for myself there, with a lot of the big dogs not scoring. Eli Katoa having a shocker at the moment, 44 for him. Iro's 87 was great. Cleary's 90. Tungo 67, but I picked him over McLean again and got that wrong. Greg Marzu again picked him over McLean in that game. Curran 46, Angus Crichton 75, and Jerome Hughes 66. So just no, outside of Val Holmes there and Plath, no real massive scores there to kick us off into the stratosphere and into the next level. But the good thing here is in my side that I do have the 7 trades left, and we do have some room to move. So there's a lot of people with many less trades than myself. And yeah, if we can get Garrick back, that'll be cool. We've got Turbo back this week to cover for Teddy. Hopefully Brayley still plays, if we've got Crossland at 9 there. At 7 there, we can get Brayley some good minutes. Otherwise I'll, move things around and probably bring Starling in like I should have done. Should have traded Brayley for Starling back in the day and just held on to Appy. But you live and you learn. That's for sure. I've made enough mistakes in Supercoach, and hopefully can continue to improve my game in Supercoach over the next few years like I have with Fantasy. Just continue to get better, which is nice. And that's what we want. We want to be learning each and every year and each and every week. That's for sure. And that's where we can use the history to go back and just see where you're at, see what trades you made different weeks and what kind of cooked you at certain points of the season. So that's the Supercoach side of things. And let's move to the Fantasy head-to-head just to finish things off. All right, not as fun. Reed Marnie's 39, actually getting up a couple of points in updates. There you go. Nicaragua with another low score, so 2 weeks in a row for both him and Reed Marnie. It makes it a little bit tough there. Thankfully, have Starling. Don't have Cook. Don't have Jai Gray, so that made it a little bit tough. Have Campbell and Tedesco. Plath in there with the 63 was good. And have Haas with 17. So a few things there that messed us about, unfortunately, there. But it is what it is sometimes. You can't win them all. I did end up being able to get Blaze Talangi's 54, which was good. And Lockie Galvin's 43, leaving Jack Howarth in there at the bottom with a 36. So looped well enough in this one, having three players on the bye, and Sipley, Garrick, and also Cotter. And that allowed me to get the correct looper, which I did, thank goodness. Every day of the week you're playing Nicara over a Howarth score anyway. at 36 especially. But yeah, it just wasn't to be with a few of the lower ones and just missing a few of the higher ones this week. The main problem with this one was the fact that an 893 puts me in a losing position in a lot of my head-to-head. So head-to-head, the JBFA one, I end up losing that, unfortunately. So I'm Gonskis out of that position there. Gargarov, I end up with a loss there, unfortunately, into 12th there, and that cooks my season, definitely. So yeah, made the qualifying final and cooked myself there in that one there. Actually, in the bottom of the tally there in the qualifying final. Wow, I did end up with a win in the Serato League, so that puts me into the prelim, which is good fun. So we'll take that. That's for sure. For the King's Cup section, we lost by 7. So rough. So unfortunately there, what does that put us? Into the qualifying finals. Okay, so that was just the last round, but that's okay. So we're in 6. We come up against, what does that put us against? 3rd, which will be fun. So that's a good one. We're first in the League of Legends, so that puts us in, okay, that's in the elimination final now. So I go straight into the prelim. Is that right? Yeah, cool. Alrighty, that works out well. So just based on where you placed, it's a smaller league, so you get put into the elimination final. So that's a win. Okay, Liam's league, we lost that one, but that was the last round. So now we're in the qualifying final, which is good. So that worked out okay. Getting a lower score in that one. Won the next league, so that's good. So we're in there now into the qualifying finals, which puts us in a good spot there in 2nd. So that's really important. 5th in the Amateurs League, getting a win there. Okay, puts us up against 4th in that one, which will be sweet. Up against Ross, that'll be a good fun one. And the Sweat Lobby, 2nd overall in that, straight into the qualifying final now, and hopefully can get a win there. So in a pretty good spot overall. I only did miss just the one league, basically. Yeah, the Gargarov. End up in 12th in that, and I've made the finals in every single league, which is awesome. Now let's have a look at where we're at heading into this round 23 clash. So in terms of players on a bye, I just have Teddy there. I have Haas out, so I'll have to sort out that. Cotter will be back, which is good, but just Teddy as an out this week. So with Haas being out at 770k, I can basically go to anyone, which is cool. And I will be most likely targeting Isaiah Yeo with that one. I think he'll be the best scorer. And if there's any round for him to be resting, is probably the last one, which is out of head-to-head finals contention. And Yeo is going to be really helpful for me over the next few weeks. So that's a very, very simple trade, I'd imagine, for this side. And we'll potentially have a look at a second. Now we're into the head-to-head final stage of things. Basically, most of them are in the qualifying final stage. So do I want to trade too heavily? If I do remove Haas this week, they have a bye the following week, the Broncos, and I'll have no Broncos next week. So I think one trade or even two would be fine heading into this week, and then could hold next week. Or if I just do the one this week, I could make a trade the following week there. With one player on the bye, I basically, full strength, which will be cool, but I'm not looking to play guys like Sipley, potentially a Howarth. We'll see how that one goes. All right, wing fullback, we'd have to bring someone in there. So Garrett can just go down to fullback. We got Iro to come to centers. Yeah, probably, it's Talangi, Sipley, Howarth, potentially the three that don't end up playing. The rest should be sweet once I trade Haas out. So still in a pretty good spot overall in this side here, and in a good spot to get some wins over the next few weeks. We're just sorting out that Haas situation and hopefully some better scores out of Nikora, out of Reed Marnie, and then eventually Tedesco, and obviously Campbell is pretty easy for him to get some better scores. Madison's 46, not too bad, and a solid spot overall. Let me know how you guys are going in your head-to-head comps as well, along with overall, depending on which one you're targeting and trying to do your best at in that one. And thanks for being here for the results video. A little bit of gloating, of course, but when you halve your rank, I think you've earned the right to be able to do that. If I haven't earned the right to do that, let me know in the comments as well. Good stuff. Comment away. Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch you in our next video.